Having a small grade child now, she's grown. She wants to deactivate whatever chip they put into her. Do they usually put it in a certain place in children? Do you have any idea what an implant would be? Yeah, usually with children they put it in their noses. And I really don't suggest putting a magnet of this, because these magnets I have on the website at SherryTalkRadio.com, and you can look at SherryTalkRadio.com. On the left-hand side, I just put up a link, deactivate chip implants. On the left-hand side, these neodyme magnets, they're very powerful. They can lift 1,300 pounds of steel, and I don't think you want to put something like that on your brain. Probably just suck it right out of your head. I don't know. I just, like pregnant people, people with heart monitors, heart conditions, would not want to put these magnets on them. I would just ask the Lord about where, maybe like the side of her nose. Use a Band-Aid and tape it, because this is the thought coming to me right now, is just to tape it with a Band-Aid on the side of her nose and leave it there for a day, you know. Maybe do it when you go to sleep and then take it off when you wake up. Give about 8 or 10 hours, you know. Because some of these chips that have been in us forever will take a while. I know when I did my tetanus shot, they preload medicines with chips, folks. And so if you've had a tetanus shot and you've been born after 1960, I put a neodyme magnet on the place where the shot was with a Band-Aid. Left it there for like 2 or 3 days, because it'd been there since I was a child. And so just ask the Lord if and where you have chips implanted, and you can use these neodyme magnets to deactivate them. And they usually target all children. That's why you hear about this thing with children and bloody noses, and they brush it under the rug and try to make it sound like it's normal. It's usually the result of chip implants. Most children have no recollection or memory at all of seeing aliens. They just wake up with a bloody nose. Some children, more in tune with the spiritual realm, will retain memory of being abducted or seeing these aliens putting something up their nose or whatever, or see them standing beside them or something. And so usually it's something children grow out of. Some are just in tune with the spirit world. I know I've always been. I was told by a pastor I've been born with my spiritual ears and eyes open. And that's not uncommon, I don't think. You just see things and will hear things that most people don't. And then, of course, most people think you're crazy, especially if you're in the churches. They think that you can't be a Christian if that's happening to you, and that's how they deal with it. You know, they prefer to keep their heads in the sand instead of trying to deal with problems affecting people in the churches. And so just ask the Lord where the chips are. You can also get, these electricians have this tool in auto mechanics. It's an energy reader. It can tell you if a wire is hot or active or whatever. You can get those and run them over your skin, your body, and watch the needle to see if it jumps anywhere over your body, and that might be an indicator that you have a chip implant. So you can use those things as well. I just find it, a lot more simple and cheaper to just ask the Lord. Ask Him to guide your thoughts. Another question from a listener. Like I said, if you have a question or comment for the show, send it to SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com tonight. I'm just answering questions. I'm just here for you guys tonight. This is your night. I do the talking every week usually, and I don't get to questions all the time, and so that's all I'm going to do tonight. I don't think this economy will hold up for too much longer. Yeah, they've been propping it up for years. Years. I remember last year seeing in the codes, I believe it was September and October, that the gold vaults were empty, and I'm like, there's no more gold. I didn't even announce it then, because I knew if I did, it would have crashed much sooner. And so I don't even think I never announced it. I just said there was something up. I wasn't going to say it because I knew there were too many Christians not ready to face a failing economy last year as opposed to this year. I don't even think, even when it does happen, no one's going to be quite ready for it. And yeah, it is going to happen eventually, folks. I think September will be a target date. September is always a target date for a lot of things, and so eventually the economy itself is just going to fall along the lines, be a result of all the other things that are happening. And so, yeah, it is going to fail. And the one thing I see a lot is stores just disappearing and closing overnight. And so just watch for that. You start seeing stores close, banks close, and we're seeing that now. Get what you need. Get what you need. You should have food and water and medicine and stuff stocked up now. If you've been listening to my show, then you've been preparing for the last several years. The famine is unavoidable. Completely unavoidable. It's going to happen. And it's the rider of the black horse. And then we got the rider of the pale horse, which signifies that we're going to have some massive bio-warfare against not just the citizens of this country, but citizens of the world. Bio-warfare attacks, plagues, and famine and wars are going to kill 2.6 billion people. And so, approximately, you're looking at a third of the world's population. And so that's a lot of people to die in a short amount of time. And so this kind of thing is going to happen. Sometimes I always get the distinct feeling that a lot of us are just going to be, the Lord's going to shut us up in our homes. He's not going to want us to leave. And if you have kids, now's the time to get out and get some board games and some stuff that'll keep them occupied so they're not driving you completely ballistic. And be able to entertain yourselves. I know I've gotten me some chess games. I love to play chess. And other people are getting guitars and learn how to play the guitar books to keep them occupied. Because I do have a feeling there's going to come a time, and very well could be, that the Lord just locks us up in our homes, doesn't want us to leave. And so we're looking at a lot of chaos in this country if that happens. For it to get bad enough to where he tells us to stay in our homes. But what's heaven like? Is there heaven? Question from a listener. I would love to tell you exactly from personal experience. I can't do that. I've never been there. Did have a vision of it once, but it was more what I didn't see than what I did see. And of course I've read a bunch of near-death experiences and type things that pretty much sounded like the person was taken to one of their Disneyland heaven places on Venus and given a false view of heaven. And, it's a prepared place for prepared people. Sinners wouldn't like it there. And so, it's just, you can read descriptions of it you can read the New Jerusalem in Revelation 22, and there's various descriptions of it, and throughout the Bible, a reference here or there about it. But there's just no evil there. There's no crime. There's no sin. I know some people think that we're going to be busy sitting on harps, sitting on clouds, playing on harps. They always get this view of heaven for some reason, that people are just sitting around harp playing. And that's not the view I have at all. In fact, I have a very distinct, different view of heaven. I can remember having thoughts, and I don't know if it's future or something from the way past, of being in fighter planes, these I don't know what you want to call them. They're not these round UFO things. They're more like little fighter jets or something, pods or something. And working as the Lord's warriors, doing things for Him out in space and going on missions and things like that. Very much different. I guess it just depends on the person, the kind of rank you receive for your service here on earth. And I know that determines exactly what you'll be doing during the millennial reign as well. Your service here on earth to the Lord, the rewards you receive at the judgment seat of Christ, will determine what you're going to do during that millennial reign of Christ. And the things you're doing now here on earth just determine so much. I stress it all the time to people. Build fruit for the Lord. Do things now that count for Him, because you're building your own rewards for eternity. You may not be rewarded here on earth, because we know how things are here. You're underappreciated, under-supported, and everything else. Most people will hate you rather than like you. And the Lord might not bless you here on earth. You may not have the things you want or need here on earth, but His blessings will come through eternity. And so you just adopt a mindset that, what goes on this earth doesn't matter. I'm doing this for the Lord, doing this for eternity. And so you just get the things done that need to be done here on earth. If the Lord if He blessed everybody for everything they did, and everybody had fancy homes and fancy cars, and I think it's proven already statistic-wise that rich people don't need God. They quickly forget God, because at that point their whole life centers around greed and materialism